Imagine a world where the 1945 duel, the greatest magical battle in history, never actually happened. Instead, imagine Albus Dumbledore and Gellert Grindelwald standing on the balcony of Nurmengard Castle, looking out over a world that has finally been corrected. There are no Muggle wars. There is no secrecy. There is only the greater good.
See, Albus, the Muggles are no longer destroying themselves. We have given them order. We have given them peace.
At the cost of their freedom, Gellert. But as we agreed, it is a price they must pay for their own survival.
Wait, Albus Dumbledore? The champion of the light? The man who is supposed to be the world's only hope. In this timeline, he never walked away from that summer in Godric's Hollow. He stayed. He chose power over penance. Today, we are exploring a terrifying reality. What if Dumbledore and Grindelwald worked together to control the wizarding world? This isn't just a story about two villains. It's a story about a world where the good guys decided that the only way to save us was to enslave us. The Supreme Masters. What if Dumbledore and Grindelwald ruled together? Let's go back to 1899. Godric's Hollow. Albus and Gellert are young, brilliant, and completely obsessed with each other and the Deathly Hallows. In the original story, Ariana Dumbledore dies in a three-way duel. Albus wakes up to his senses, and Grindelwald flees. But in this world, Ariana doesn't die. Maybe the spell misses. Maybe Albus uses his genius to save her. Without that tragedy to break them apart, the bond between Albus and Gellert becomes an unbreakable alliance. They don't just dream of the greater good, they start building it. Imagine them leaving England together. They don't go into hiding, they go on a hunt. For the Elder Wand, for the Resurrection Stone, for the Cloak. With Albus's tactical mind and Gellert's raw, visionary charisma, they are unstoppable. By the time the 1920s roll around, there is no Newt Scamander coming to save the day in New York. Why? Because Dumbledore isn't a teacher at Hogwarts. He's the shadow architect behind Grindelwald's revolution. While Gellert is the face of the movement, leading the masses with his speeches, Albus is the one rewriting international wizarding laws. They aren't just attacking ministries. They are becoming the ministries. Think about the psychological impact. Dumbledore always believed he knew what was best for people. In this timeline, that belief turns into a god complex. He convinces himself that by ruling the Muggles, he's preventing the world wars. He's not a villain in his own mind. He's a savior. And that makes him 10 times more dangerous than Voldemort ever was. Now, let's talk about the year 1945. In our world, this was the end of Grindelwald. In this world, it's the official end of the Statute of Secrecy. Imagine a global broadcast magical and Muggle. Grindelwald appears in every city square, in every home. He reveals the existence of magic, but he doesn't do it with fire and blood. He does it with a smile. He shows the Muggles how magic can cure their diseases, how it can end their famines. He offers them a paradise on one condition: wizarding oversight. Albus Dumbledore becomes the supreme mugwump of the International Confederation of Wizards, while Grindelwald becomes the High Protector of Earth. It's a dual monarchy. But behind the paradise, the reality is chilling. If you are a wizard who disagrees with them, you vanish into Nurmengard. If you are a Muggle who tries to resist, your memory is wiped, or worse.
Freedom is a burden, Albus. We have lifted that burden from their shoulders. They should thank us.
They do thank us, Gellert. That is the tragedy of it.
They create a world where the greater good is written on every wall. Hogwarts isn't a school of magic anymore. It's an academy for the global elite, training the next generation of master wizards to keep the Muggles in line. There is no underground resistance because Albus Dumbledore knows every secret, every hiding spot, and every spell. He taught them all. The world is a golden cage, and the keys are in the hands of two men who love each other more than they love humanity. Fast forward to the 1980s. Does Lord Voldemort even exist in this world? Probably not. Tom Riddle would have been identified by Dumbledore very early on. But instead of being a Dark Lord, Tom Riddle would have been recruited. Imagine Tom Riddle as the head of the secret police for Dumbledore and Grindelwald. He wouldn't be Voldemort, he would be their most loyal and terrifying enforcer. But what about Harry Potter? In this world, James and Lily Potter aren't fighting a Dark Lord. They are part of a small, desperate underground resistance called the Order of the Phoenix, the only group that still remembers what freedom felt like. They are led by people like Aberforth Dumbledore, the only man who still dares to stand up to his brother. But the resistance is failing. Why? Because Albus knows them too well. Imagine Harry growing up in this world. He's not a hero. He's a target, or worse, he's a project. Dumbledore hears the prophecy, but he doesn't fear it. He wants to control it. He takes Harry from the ruins of his parents' home, not to protect him, but to raise him as the ultimate weapon for the Empire.
You will be the jewel in our crown, Harry. You will show the world that even fate bows to the greater good.
Harry grows up in the palace of Nurmengard. He's groomed by Grindelwald in combat and by Dumbledore in philosophy. He is the prince of the new world. He doesn't have Ron and Hermione. He has tutors and guards. He doesn't know about love. He only knows about destiny. The climax of this story happens when Harry turns 17. He's ready to take his place as the heir to the global empire. But then, he finds a hidden chamber in Nurmengard. He finds the records of 1899. He finds the truth about Ariana Dumbledore. He realizes that the peace the world enjoys is built on a mountain of lies and a river of blood. He realizes that his mentors are the architects of a global prison. Harry decides to do the unthinkable. He decides to start a revolution from the inside. But he's not fighting a weak Voldemort. He's fighting the two most brilliant minds to ever live. The final battle isn't a duel of spells. It's a duel of ideologies. Harry stands before Dumbledore and Grindelwald in the throne room.
You said you did this for the greater good, but there is nothing good about a world where people are afraid to think. My mother died fighting you. My father died fighting you. And today, the greater good ends.
Dumbledore looks at Harry, and for a second, we see the old Albus, the one who could have been a hero. He feels a pang of regret. But Grindelwald? Grindelwald just smiles and raises the Elder Wand.
Pity. I had such high hopes for you, Harry Potter.
The battle that follows tears the castle of Nurmengard apart. Harry doesn't win through power. He wins because he manages to turn Dumbledore against Grindelwald one last time. He reminds Albus of what it means to be human. He reminds him of the love they once had and how they twisted it into something monstrous. In the end, the Empire falls. But the world is left in ruins. Without the Supreme Masters to hold everything together, the Wizarding and Muggle worlds collide in a chaotic, violent mess. This what if shows us the most dangerous kind of villain, the one who thinks they are doing the right thing. Dumbledore and Grindelwald weren't trying to destroy the world. They were trying to fix it, and that is exactly what made them so terrifying. If those two had stayed together, Lord Voldemort would have been a footnote in history. Harry Potter wouldn't have been a savior. He would have been a rebel against a global dictatorship. But what do you think? Could Dumbledore really have stayed dark for that long? Or would his conscience have eventually caught up to him? And could anyone, even Harry, have stood a chance against the combined power of the Elder Wand and Albus Dumbledore's mind? Let me know in the comments. This was a mind-bending request, so I want to hear your darkest theories. If you loved this alternate look at the Wizarding world, hit that like button and subscribe to Omniva.